I'm a small-time YouTuber. I don't generate millions of views, yet, so I rely on the generosity of my local dealership to supply me with vehicles to review. That being said, I pick the cars that I want to review off their lots. So why on earth would I pick a 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport? I don't even like subcompact crossovers. It's not a particularly exciting class of vehicles to me. There's probably 20 entries to the field, and yet the only ones I can name off the top of my head, aside from this one, is the Trax and the Soul. And one of those is dead this year. But I understand their purpose, to sideline cafe standards because they're not technically a car, and to do that for as cheaply as possible. These aren't always the car that you want to buy, they're typically the car that you can afford. And there's nothing wrong with that. Plenty of people view their car as an appliance that gets them from A to B. Why should they spend a ton of money to accomplish that? And that's pretty much the reason I picked it. It looked like an absolute bargain. But before that, I'd like to thank Walker Jones Automotive Group in Waycross, Georgia for providing me with this vehicle. It is for sale, and if you'd like to purchase it or one like it, there'll be a link in the video description below. And for the absolute best service, ask for Catherine Coyote. The Outlander Sport was not a popular car, and surprisingly, they still make it. Motor Trend wrote a scathing review of it when it was new, and most of what they said is justifiable. But this is not a new car, because despite having some nice-to-have features and just over 17,000 miles, it's priced at just $21,900. Everything else at this price point is either long out of factory warranty or has over twice the amount of miles. It is an absolute bargain with over 80,000 miles left on its factory powertrain warranty. Shoot, it's so new, it still has bumper to bumper left over. But why? Well, I'm gonna be blunt. It is not the most sophisticated vehicle on the road. In a world of smartphones, it's a flip phone. In a world of smart TVs, you can guess where I'm going with this. To start, it has a 2-liter, non-turbo, fuel-injected engine. Not direct injected, fuel injected. Next to that is the same CVT Mitsubishi has been using successfully for decades, and beyond that is a 4-wheel drive system that I can only assume they developed from the same stones Neanderthals first used to create tools. If you could drive a TI-83 Plus calculator, it would probably look something like this. I mentioned it has some nice-to-have features. The seats are cloth, but the front ones are pleasantly heated. The steering wheel, shifter, and curiously parking brake lever are all leather-wrapped. The outside mirrors are taller than most and heated so they don't fog over. The inside mirror is auto-dimming, and you get a host of insurance-friendly features like collision warning, auto braking, and lane keep assist. All of the exterior lighting is LED, and it has cruise control, auto high beams, rain sensing wipers, and single zone automatic air conditioning. I really wanted to point out some things that I think people might miss on their first impression with an Outlander Sport, like the heated seat switches. Because they're a switch, you can just leave it on. You don't have to turn it on every time you get in the car, you can just leave it on all the time if that's something you like. You'll notice that there's Type A USBs up here, but the car does have a Type C USB port. It's just in the center of the car so that if any person needs it, they don't need a super long Type C cable to use it. Anybody in the car can use it if it's in a centralized location. The cargo mat says Mitsubishi on it. It's a regular old surface, but if you wanted something rubberized, it's reversible, so you can just flip it over. Just really nice little things that you can tell Mitsubishi thought about. The radio isn't remarkable, but I wouldn't call it bad. It's super simple and responsive with tactile, accurate volume and tuner knobs. Wired Android Auto and Apple CarPlay are also a surprising plus at this price point. On the road, it's a well-mannered vehicle. It rides all right, as well as any sub 20,000 mile car should. Here in Waycross, we have quite a few railroad crossings that will really upset a vehicle, and it doesn't even mind those. Off the line, it has good torque from its naturally aspirated engine. It feels good, it's responsive. While being affordable and simple to produce, a good-sized 4-cylinder will always accelerate smoother and idle better than a smaller turbocharged or 3-cylinder alternative. And I appreciate that. The trade-off is mediocre fuel economy. And while carrying around a 4-wheel drive system probably doesn't help, the Outlander Sport struggles to get over 30 miles to the gallon on the highway, and it does even less around town. Because that makes it not particularly light and it only has about 140 horsepower, it takes an equally unremarkable 9 seconds to get to 60. But I will say that the part throttle pull to 60 is very smooth, it's very brisk, it feels very reasonable. I don't think anybody expects this car to be fast. All of these things were harped on by Motor Trend, and all of them make sense given the build of the vehicle. I think it's imperative to state that I do script these videos. I drive the car, go home, write a script, go out the next day and drive the car again in front of the camera and state everything that I absorbed. But this is just one of those cars that the longer I drive it, the more I appreciate it. Regardless of what people think, I drive a lot of cars every day. I work on cars every day, and driving this car is just very pleasant. They set out to build a car that I feel like anybody could drive and feel comfortable in, and this just does everything that it was designed to do well. Obviously, there's things that people want in a new car that they can't live without, or they don't want to buy a car without in current day. And those people will probably shy away from something like this. But for the people who go online and complain about how complicated cars are and how they want to just go buy a brand new 1999 Toyota Camry, I feel like this car fits that shoe very well. I really didn't want to like this car. In fact, I thought at the price point I was going to hate it. I thought it was going to drive offensively bad. I thought it was going to rattle. I thought that there was going to be something horrifyingly wrong with the way that it drove. And it just, I don't see anything wrong with it. Like, I could give this car to anybody in my family, any of my friends, and not have to worry about them calling me up because they can't get it out of park. I think simplicity and manners are two things that are really hard to quantify, and I think it manages those two things very well. I might get chastised for saying this, but I really feel like it has all of the features and build quality of an entry-level Toyota or Honda for less money while still being assembled in Japan. I really appreciate that it's simple, it's straightforward. There's no gimmicks. You don't have to buckle your seatbelt to shift out of park. You don't have to log into Google to use the radio. They don't lock any features behind a subscription. There's not 50 modules in it to drain the battery while it's off. You just stick a key in the ignition, turn it on, yank the shifter into driver reverse, and you're on your way. Sure, it doesn't seem to be made out of the highest quality materials you've ever seen, but because it was assembled in Japan, you just know it's gonna stay together. Funny story, my stepmom had an Outlander Sport for 140,000 miles, and the only thing that ever went wrong was the right rear wheel bearing. They even kept the original tires to 120,000 miles. Before that, she had an Eclipse that had pretty much the same drivetrain, and it went to 100,000 miles with only needing a right rear wheel bearing. I really feel like it's an exceptional car, and it's surprising to me that it's offered at such a low price point just because it doesn't offer all of the latest features. I think the bottom line is if you're looking for a reliable, affordable vehicle that doesn't have all those crazy new features, the choice has never been clearer. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you next time.